Hello, my name is Alvin Louie, and I am with Unified Carmel. If you're watching this video, chances are it's because you probably want to start a parent-led group to fight indoctrination in your local schools or something about the schools that you're not happy with. So the question really for most people is how do we start? It's so daunting, it's intimidating, I don't even know where to begin. So I wanted to make this video and kind of give you 7 things that I think it's important for any building blocks of a group. And so hopefully that'll help you kind of guide you in the right path. Certainly there's a lot that goes on into building a successful group, but I think these are kind of the important things that you should be implementing or thinking about as you're building your base infrastructure. Now, before I begin, I've linked a bunch of things from Unified Carmel, and please take anything that you need. We don't need any credit. It doesn't matter. We're all fighting the same fight. If there's something that we've done that you can use and it kind of, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel, please take it. Take whatever you need. Take pieces of it. You can copy, paste, or link to it, whatever you need. So let's start off. The most important thing of a group, of course, is the people. And so you might be watching and you might be one person, or maybe you have another parent, or you might only be 2 or 3 people, and that's fine. I think a lot of people feel like they need a really big group before they can do anything, and that's not true. The most important thing is to have a very small but focused group, groups that are very have some skills. You can grow the group, but your core team has to be really, really strong. So when you're picking your core team, and a core team could be 3 people, could be 2 people, but like for Carmel, I think we started with like 5 or 6, and so but you got to pick people that really have some skills to bring to the table. They can't just be people that just complain. And there's going to be a lot that you need to do, so you're not going to be able to do everything at first. Okay, you really aren't, but you got to have skills set on these core groups. So your core group is really, really important. So once you build that core group, then you can grow from there. What you don't want to do is just have a large core group right off the bat, because what ends up happening is you're going to have people that just try to throw the kitchen sink at everything, and they're just complainers. They don't really do anything. So find your core group and make sure that it's really strong and that these people are willing to take action and execute, not just talk. Okay, so the first thing is to have a really, really great core group before you begin anything. Second tip, which is very tied to the first tip there, is have a focused goal. You don't have to announce it to everybody, although obviously announcing it tells people what your kind of mission statement is. But internally having a goal gives you kind of your North Star. And what I mean by that is, don't just say, I want to get rid of indoctrination in schools. You got to be a little bit more specific. Are you going to get rid of certain criteria? You want to get rid of not just what you're going to get rid of, but what are you going to focus on? So like for example, with Unified Carmel, one of the things we really are big about is parental rights and parental access and getting parents back into the schools. And that's our big push, besides getting rid of CRT or indoctrination or anything else, is that we really are focused on parental rights. And so you just have to have your North Star, because if you don't have a North Star, what ends up happening is that everything seems like a fight. So you have no idea what to fight and what not to fight, because as a group, you're not going to be able to fight everything. So you have to be very narrow in your focus, because as you grow, there's going to be fights that are going to come to you, or you're going to see something and you're going to want to fight. But as a core group, when you're the group that you're talking about strategy, you have to have a guiding principle. If not, you're just going to be everywhere and your message is going to be diluted. So have a very specific North Star. Have it be very, very narrow at first. You can always expand later, but don't make it too wide. Don't pick a fight with everything just because it's within the schools. The third one would be pick a name. Pick a name that represents your city or your area. Something that when people hear about it, they know where you're talking about. Like in our case, it's Unified Carmel. In Westfield, it's Unified Westfield. Also, pick a name that you can use eventually across your social media. So when you're picking a name, eventually you might do a website, maybe not, but you might have an Instagram or a Twitter or Facebook. Do a search, and I'll link a site where you can search social media names to see if it's taken. Because like, for example, if we were unifiedcarmel.org, if Twitter and Instagram was taken, now we have to do, Carmel for Education, or, Education in Carmel or something, and people don't know that those are the same groups. So, for us, we're very consistent across our brands, and that helps people find us. And it's, and it gives us that consistency across everything that we're doing. So just search your name. Chances are, if you're calling your city and calling it for education, it's probably not taken, right? You're probably pretty safe, but do the search. So that way, when you come up with the name, you want to be sure that that's going to be consistent across everything that you're going to do in the future. A website is good, but it's not necessary when you first start out. Most people don't know how to design a website. That's perfectly fine. There's a lot of free sites out there, or free programs out there that can do a pretty good job. But again, not necessary. More importantly is to have a Facebook group, because that's where your supporters can come. You can deliver information very quickly. You can galvanize them for events, school board meetings, whatever the case is. So, have a Facebook group and get your people in there. You can make it public, you can make it private. That's kind of up to you, depending on kind of what you're comfortable with. You can have both. It doesn't really matter, but just have a place where people can come and you can communicate with your supporters. Number 5, be organized very early on so you're efficient with your time. The hardest thing about these kind of groups is it takes so much time out of your life that eventually people just kind of stop because it's just too much work. So very early on, the best way to get organized is use things like Google Sheets and Google Docs. I'll give you an example. So early on, we put all our school board in Carmel, all the names and email addresses, okay, in a Google Doc. Because we ask people to email school board so often, because we want to put the pressure on the school board, I'm constantly copying and pasting their email addresses. So if every time I need to ask someone to email the school board, I got to go look up the email address, that just takes more time out of my day. And these little time-saving measures is the difference between feeling just kind of tired and feeling really burned out. So as you do things more often, as you're looking for things, think about, okay, this is the 3rd time this week I've looked for this. So go ahead and put it into a doc or a Google Sheet or something where you can just grab it later on, or even a notepad. You can upload it somewhere or save it on your desktop or something that you can easily go grab. The other thing, besides a Google Doc and Google Sheet, I would say open a Dropbox. Dropbox is free. It'll take you a while to fill the free account. Unless you're doing video or a lot of photos, you can live on the free account for a while. But there's gonna be a lot of things that you want to save, that you want to get back to. You can get it on your phone, you can get it on your laptop. And again, it's just about being efficient. So be as organized as you possibly can when you first start off, especially within your core group. So that way you can share information without having to send it back and forth or look for it in an email or look for it in text. Those time-sucking things is what really wears people out. Okay, so just be organized and be as efficient as possible in Google Docs, Google Sheets, Dropbox. Those are really efficient tools that will save you a ton of time over the course of months. Number 6, start a blog. You don't have to be a blogger. You don't have to be a great writer. The reason why I would say, and there's a lot of free blogs out there, it doesn't really matter. I mean, ours is attached to our website, but you can start one on WordPress. You can start one on pretty much anything. There's a lot of free sites out there. The reason why the blog is good is because as you gain supporters, as people ask you questions, you will naturally know in your community what the common questions are. There's going to be certain questions that come up over and over again, certain issues over and over again. If you can kind of, like my tip on number 5, being efficient, if you get these questions and you're constantly answering it in Facebook, go ahead and put it in a blog. That way, the next time someone asks, you just send them the link and you don't have to type it all over again. So one example that we use a lot is people ask us, well, what can I do? What can I do now that I know there's a problem? And I used to write out all the things I can do, and I might do 2 or 3 here and another 2 or 3 here. And then I realized, geez, I've answered this question 20 times in the last 2 weeks. So I made a blog that says, what can you do? And I put a lot of thought into it and gave them 6 or 7 things. So now every time someone asks, I just send them the link. Same thing with opt-out forms, right? I don't want to keep sending the opt-out form and the process and how to do it. So I made a blog for that. So so if you click on our blog, a lot of what's in the blog is because of commonly asked questions or common issues that people have asked us or me, and we just put it into a blog and we reuse it over and over again. That alone has saved me just dozens and dozens of hours because I don't have to answer them again. So a blog is good, saves you a lot of time. And last but not least, this is a mindset, not what you can do. This is a long game. This is a really, really long game. Okay, so the mistakes that groups make early on is that they think that they can solve this problem. This is not a problem you can solve, because this problem in the schools have been going on for a number of years, and it's really layered and it's really deep. So this isn't something you can solve with a few emails and a few school board attendance. You're not going to convince them that they're wrong. This is a long game. This is strategy. This is putting pressure on them. This is galvanizing parents, educating parents. And so as you go along, you're going to see that it just takes time. So it is a long game. So don't expect that you're going to make a big difference in 3 to 6 months or anything like that, because you're really not. And if you have that mindset, it'll help you, because if you don't and you think that you can solve this problem in a couple of months, what's going to end up happening is that when you don't see results, you're going to get tired, your team's going to get tired, and you guys are going to burn out, and then you guys are going to be done. So I've seen a lot of groups burn out. I've seen a lot of groups just fizzle out because they didn't have that stamina or the longevity, because they didn't come in to this fight with the right mindset. And remembering that this is a long game, that not any one battle is going to win you anything, or losing one battle is not going to make a huge difference. Winning a battle is not going to make a huge difference. It's just being consistent over a course of time and putting a lot of pressure on the school board. If you have to flip the school board, that's a different goal. So just educating parents, getting them to, either to remove their kids if they can, or opt out of certain things, and just making it as hard as possible on the school board to push this ideology. That's a big strategy. So those are the things I hope that will help you. Like I said, it takes a lot, and it takes a lot of dedication. So if you're watching this, much respect to you guys, much respect to you, and anything we can do to help, let us know. All right, see you later.